This conference will now be recorded.
Now, so in the last session, we have discussed how can we get the data from the object with the help of by creating a web service and by using that the HTTP GET method, and how can we pass the parameters to the web service at runtime from the third-party applications. The third-party applications can supply some input also. Based on that input, it can able to fetch the data from those respective organization or from that application. So we have discussed by using the REST context class. By using the REST context class, we can send the request by adding some parameters also, input parameters at runtime, and we can get that response also by using REST response class. Okay, so both REST request and the REST response classes are available inside the REST context class. Now let's see the remaining HTTP methods. Like how can we delete the records, and how can we insert the records, how to update, and how can we perform the upsert operations through web services. Now let's see. Okay, now. So in order to delete the records from that object, what is the annotation that we need to use? HTTP delete. Okay. By using that HTTP delete annotation, that means that is called as a HTTP protocol method. Okay, that is called as a HTTP method. So in this case, by using that HTTP delete annotation or HTTP delete method, we can remove either one or more number of records from that object. From the third-party systems, we can send the record ID, or we can send some input parameters. Based on that input parameters, we can search for the required records information, and then based on that searching mechanism, whatever the result records are available, we can remove those records from your object. Okay, now, so in this case, how to remove the records by using that HTTP delete annotation? Now let's see practically here. Okay, now, so now make a note of this one. HTTP delete. By using this method, by using this HTTP method, we can remove either one or more records from the base from the object based on the input supplied by the third-party application. Third-party application at runtime. So based on the input supplied by the third-party application at runtime, we can fetch the resultant records, and those records we can remove from your object. Now, the syntax. @HTTP delete. We can specify the method name, global, static. We can specify the return type, and we can specify the method name. We can write the business logic. And then we can write the code to remove the records from your object. So by supplying some input parameters, that input may be either a record ID also. By passing the record ID, that specific record we can remove from your object. Based on some other columns information, like as based on some rating column, based on industry, based on phone, whatever the values that you want, we can supply. Okay, based on that values, we can search for the required records, and we can remove those records from your object. Clear? Now, so now let's see how can we prepare a web service which is used to remove some records from my object. Okay. Now, let's take a small use case. Create a web service to remove the specified lead records from the object based on the lead ID. Based on the lead ID. I would like to supply the lead record ID. Whatever the lead record ID that I'm supplying, based on that ID, I would like to remove that record from my object. So what are the web services we are implementing? These are purely REST-based web services, which can be accessible just by using that endpoint, nothing but that URL. Okay, that is called as URI. If you are creating that SOAP-based web services, to access that SOAP-based web services, we need WSDL file. Okay, what are the WSDL files they are generating? That WSDL file we need to consume, then only we can able to connect to that the web service and we can perform that operations. That is a lengthy process, because we need to convert that WSDL file into your Apex. Okay, so that is a lengthy process here. We'll see that concept also. Okay, how to create that SOAP-based web services also. But when coming to the REST-based web services, it is very easy to implement. These are purely lightweight. That too, these can be accessible over the HTTP protocol. HTTP protocol will be supporting by all the applications, which is very easy to transfer the data over the network, so that performance also will be getting improved as part of this HTTP protocol. That's what here most of the application, especially mobile applications and the banking, finance, almost 99% of the applications are purely utilizing REST-based implementations only nowadays. Okay. Now, so now let me create a web service in order to delete the record from my lead object. Now, I'm creating a web service. Now, lead management service. I'm creating a class with the name lead management service. Now, in order to make it as a web service, first of all, we have to make the class as global and then specify the resource name. Based on what resource name, the third-party application can access this method or this can access this resource. So I'm using that @ REST resource. Specify the URL mapping. Lead management service. So here I'm indicating that the resource name, that is lead management service. Now prepare the method here. Global static. I'm defining the string. Why I'm defining the string is, once the record has been getting deleted, how the user will get the confirmation if the record has been removed successfully or not. For that one, I want to return some value. If the record has been deleted successfully, I want to return the value as success. If the record is unable to delete because we don't have the proper rights on that record to be get removed, if you don't have the deletion permission inside your profile or on that particular record, then I want to give that message like as failure, so that based on that they will decide here. Okay. Now, so in this case, I'm returning that value as string type parameter here. Delete lead record by ID. Okay, delete lead record by ID. Whenever if you want to perform the delete operation by using that web service, you have to use that annotation called as HTTP delete. I'm using that HTTP delete annotation, which is used to indicate that the third-party system is going to be performing some deletion operation inside your organization. Now, so now they need to supply some record ID. Based on that record ID, I would like to remove that record here. How can we get that record ID which has been supplied by the third-party system? How to get that record ID? Map collection. Okay, map of string comma string. Now map lead details. So now what is that class we need to use? REST context dot request dot parameters. So what are the parameters or the input parameters supplied by the third party system? That input parameters I am going to be collecting, and those parameters I'm storing inside my map collection. From there I would like to collect the lead record ID here. Lead record ID equals to map lead details dot get of ID. Okay, so now with the key ID, whatever the value is available, I'm collecting that value. That value I'm storing inside a variable called as the lead record ID. Once the lead record ID is available, I would like to remove that lead record from my object here. How to delete the lead record based on the ID? Delete. Now I want to indicate that. Select the ID of that lead record. Then first name, comma last name from lead object, where ID equals to lead record ID. Okay, lead record ID. I'm removing that lead record from my object by using delete statement. You know how to perform the delete operation or DML operations, you know very well. By using both the database class methods, by using the normal DML statements also both. Once the record has been getting removed, I want to return that message over here. Record deleted successfully. I'm indicating that message here. Okay, I'm returning a string value, record deleted successfully. Okay, so now I'm going to be collecting the lead record ID. Based on that lead record ID, I'm going to be removing that respective lead record from my object. Okay, clear up to now? So let's see how can we test this web service by passing one lead record ID to remove a lead record from my object. Done? Now, so let me go to the workbench. So let me test that service. We have to specify services slash, we need to specify Apex REST slash service name. What is that service name here? Now the resource name is lead management service. We need to specify that lead record ID. So let me copy a lead record ID from my object. So now I am going to be collecting one lead record. So let me take that lead record, some Betty Bear. So I'm collecting that lead record ID. I'm passing that lead record ID here. Okay, I'm passing that lead record ID. Now what is the method we need to select now? Delete method. So here we have to select, upon performing the operation, have to select the respective method over here. So now currently I'm going to be invoking the delete method. So now select that method as delete. Okay, we are not getting the data, we are deleting the record. So let's select that method here. Okay, delete. Now I'm deleting the record here. So please invoke that method which is annotated with that @HTTP delete annotation here. Whenever I'm giving that method name like as delete, then whatever the methods are available inside this lead management service, it will go to the lead manager service. In that one, whatever the method is available which is annotated with that @HTTP delete annotation, that method will be getting invoked automatically here. Okay, now click on execute. So once you click on execute, it is going to be removing the record. It has given the confirmation back to me. So now record deleted successfully. So what are the string parameters, string value that I'm returning to that particular third-party application, that value will be getting returns to you over here. So now we can able to see that confirmation record has been removed successfully. Let's go to that Salesforce instance. The lead record is available as of now. Previously, we have removed that lead record. Now refresh this user interface. Now it is indicating record is deleted. Record is already deleted by the web service. So once we go to that, the recycle bin, inside the recycle bin, we can able to see that record. The BTB record has been removed successfully from my object here. Okay, clear? Like the similar way, we can pass some different parameters. Okay, we can pass some different parameters. Like as based on some industry, I would like to remove the lead records. Based on some rating, I want to remove the lead records. Based on some name starting characters, I would like to remove the lead records. So you can able to use any parameter also in order to remove the lead record by getting that matching record from that object. Okay, clear? Understood the concept here, how to delete the records? Now. Now, so write one more web service here. Write a web service. Create a web service. Create a web service to remove all the contact records. Okay, all the contact records based on the specified account name, to remove all the related contact records based on the specified account name, based on the specified account name. I am passing one account record name. Based on that account name, I want to remove the related contacts. Now tell me, how can we do? Okay, name I'm passing. Okay, for example, I have an account record with the name some Ramesh. For that account, I'm having 4 contacts are there. I'm passing that input as Ramesh. Based on that input, it has to remove the related 4 contact records. How can we do? I'm not deleting that account record. Just I want to remove the related contacts. That's it. Okay. Okay. First of all, whenever if you want to remove that contact records, then what related contacts are available for the second we have to know. For that one, in order to get the related contact records, we need that account ID. Based on the account ID only, we can get the related contacts information from my contact object. So, but I don't know that account ID, I know the account name. Based on that account name, I want to collect that account ID. With that account ID, I want to get the related contacts, I want to remove that here. So we can use 2 workable queries. Or else, if you're familiar with the relationship queries, we can use the relationship query also over here. Okay, that facility will be available to you. Clear? Now. So now let's write that service here. Start writing that service. Done. Simple SQL query and then delete statement, nothing else. So now I'm passing the account record name. So based on that account name, we need to collect the respective contact records. So we can make two SQL queries also, no problem. Or else we can able to collect that respective account information also here. Okay, that facility is available over here. Now, in this case, I'm going to be collecting the contact records from my contact object. Along with that contact records information, I'm collecting the respective account also. Okay, I'm collecting the respective account record name also. Nothing but child to parent I'm traversing by using the relationship queries. You know how to implement the relationship queries, okay, as part of your development already we have discussed. Parent to child, child to parent, in both standard and custom also we have discussed all the four scenarios. So now here I'm going to be using that child to parent, which is in standard association, because accountant contacts both are standard objects. There is a standard relationship between these two objects. I'm using that standard association. So I'm collecting that account record name. Based on that account name, whatever the account records are available, I'm collecting that. With that account, whatever the contacts are available, I'm collecting all those contact records. I'm removing those contact records from my object here. Once the contact records has been getting removed, then I am going to be indicating that message, contact records deleted successfully. Okay, clear? Any difficulty in this one? One line of code. Any difficulty in this one? No, right? Or else, the same step, if you're feeling difficulty to write this query, I will give you the second mechanism also. So based on that map collection, whatever the input parameters the user has supplied at runtime, so now based on that input parameters, we can able to collect that information also. Okay. Now, I'm going to be collecting the account record IDs based on that account name. With the same name, if I'm having multiple accounts are available, collect those accounts information, then we can collect the respective contacts and we can remove those contacts also. So at that time, I'm using that two SQL queries here. If you're feeling difficulty to write the relationship query, let's go with that manual. Nothing but here two SQL queries. Map of ID comma account, map accounts equals to new map of ID comma account. I'm collecting the account record information based on the account record name. Select the ID of that account, name of that account from account object where name equals to the map account details dot get of name parameter. Okay, based on that name parameter, I am going to be collecting the respective account records from my account object over here. Once account records have been getting collected, all those accounts will be storing inside the map format, where the account record ID will be storing as the key and the complete account record will be storing in the form of value. Okay, you know this concept since very long time we are using this one. Once the account records are available, then we can remove those respective contact records. So I'm using that. Delete contact records. Select the contact ID, comma, account ID from contact where account ID in map accounts dot keys. Now, I'm collecting that account records information based on the account name. with this account record name, might be you may be having multiple accounts may be there with the same name, multiple accounts may be available. For each account you will be having some different contacts are available. So at that time I want to delete those contacts also. For that reason, based on that account name which has been supplied by the third party system at runtime, I'm collecting that value from the name parameter, and then based on that name I'm going to be collecting the respective account records information. Those account records information I'm storing inside a map collection. Why I'm storing inside the map collection is I want to get those account record IDs. Based on the IDs, I want to remove the contact. Suppose if I'm storing these accounts in the form of a map, if you need IDs, then directly we can fetch by using key set method. That's what here. For that reason, I have stored those resultant account records inside my map collection. Once the account records have been getting collected, then based on that account ID value, account IDs are available inside that keys place. I'm collecting all the keys. That means all the account record IDs. Based on those account IDs, whatever the contacts are available, I'm collecting those contacts information from my contact object, and then I'm removing those records. You can use either this way or you can use either this way also. But this is an optimized format over here which we can able to follow. Here you will be having two SOAkable queries. Here we can have one single SOAkable query, that is sufficient. Okay, clear? So both the ways you can able to use any one of that way, whatever you want. Clear? No. Now tell me any difficulty in this one? Nobody is responding. At least say yes or no. Understood or not? Now, is it easy to implement or difficult to implement? The same thing. Okay, since very long time we are discussing so many SOAkable queries, map collections, okay, DML statement, nothing else. Same code we are writing, but we are exposing this code to the third-party application. That's it. There, when coming to our previous examples, we are passing this parameter when coming to the method directly. Okay, but here we are collecting the parameters by using the REST context class. That's it, nothing else. Anyhow, both are same. Okay, both are same only, nothing different. Okay. Now, so let me test this service. I would like to pass the name. Let me take an account record name from my account object. For example, some Sundar Kumar. For this account, there is a contact is available. Sundar Kumar is a contact record. So this is the contact record that we have. So let me create one more contact record for the same account. Test Sundar Kumar. I'm creating one more contact. Now tell me, for this account record Sundar Kumar, how many contacts are available now? Two contacts are available, Sundar Kumar and test Sundar Kumar. Okay, these are the two contacts are available right now here. Now I would like to pass that account record name. Based on that account name, it has to remove that respective contact records from my contact object here. So let me pass that name. I'm passing that name value, name equals to Sundar Kumar. As soon as once you click on this execute button, it will be invoking the delete method which is available inside the account manager service. In my account manager service, I have prepared a delete method which is having that annotation @HTTP delete. This method will be getting invoked. So whatever the input parameter, like as whatever the name Sundar Kumar that was supplied, which I'm storing inside that key called as what? Name. So now it will be storing inside that map collection where the key will be the name and the value will be that Sundar Kumar. So that from there, when you go to that map collection, we are collecting that parameters with the help of params property. In that params property, you will be getting that the key. In that key, you will be having the value name. In this particular value, you will be getting that Sundar Kumar. So I am collecting that Sundar Kumar name based on the key. What is the key name? Name simply. So that I'm passing that key name called as name. Based on that key, I'm collecting that account record name. That name I'm comparing with that account record name value. I'm collecting that account records information I'm storing inside the map. Once account records information is available, based on that account record IDs, I'm collecting all the account record IDs here, which are having the name Sundar Kumar. I'm collecting all those account record IDs. Based on those IDs, whatever the contacts are available in the contact object, I'm collecting those contact records, I'm removing those contact records. Okay, clear? So let me execute this functionality. Now click on execute. The request has been sent. Now it is giving that confirmation contact records deleted. Whatever the contact records are available, contact records has been removed successfully from your object. Let's go to that account. For this account, as of now, we are having the 2 contacts are available. Refresh this user interface. Now for this one, how many contacts are available here now? 0. Okay. What are the 2 contacts are available for the Sundar Kumar? We have removed those 2 contact records from that object here. Okay. Yes, so you can delete this one also here. Yes. Simply, if I'm deleting this account, automatically delete contacts also will remove. Okay. Sorry. Not required. Just to remove the account. That's it. Because you have that additional functionality between account and contact, upon removing the account, contacts also will be getting deleted. So no need to use 2 DML statements, 1 DML statement. Remove the account, it will delete contacts also automatically. Okay, clear? Now, so now as of now, we are testing these services, okay, by using the workbench tool. When moving forward, we will call these methods, we will call these functionalities, web services from another Salesforce organization. At that time, we'll see how can we use that authentication mechanisms by using that OAuth protocol. With the help of OAuth authentication, how can we connect to that another organization? From one organization to another organization, how can we connect? How can we invoke that web service? And how can we get the responses? How to delete the data, insert the data, everything we'll see practically there. Okay. Clear up to now? Deleting the records by using web services. Next, insert @HTTP post. So what is the use of HTTP post annotation generally? Post annotation is used to posting the request, nothing but we are going to be inserting the record here into my object. Okay. Whenever if you want to insert the new records into your object, then we can use that annotation called as @HTTP post. Okay. By using this @HTTP post annotation, we can create the record inside your object. Okay, we can create the record inside your object. But whenever we are creating the record, that record will be requiring some mandatory field values, right? So we have to supply those values as input. Okay, we have to supply those values as input in the form of JSON format. In the form of JSON format, we need to supply those parameter values in the form of key and the value pairs. In the form of key and the value pairs, we can able to supply those values. So upon creating the record, inside that object, you may be having some mandatory fields are available. So at that time, whatever the mandatory fields are there, for those mandatory fields, we need to supply the values. Okay, we need to supply the values for those mandatory fields. Now those values we can able to supply, okay, in the form of a JSON format upon invoking that post method. That's what here, upon creating the record, we have to supply the body also. Okay, body of the request. Body of the request contains what? Input parameters. To create that record, what input values are required, all those values we can able to supply at runtime with the help of the JSON format. That's what here when you go to your web service, or a tool, when you select that post method, it is indicating the request body. In this request body, we have to specify the parameter values, key and the value pairs we need to supply in order to supply to those parameters so that we can take that values to create the new record. Okay. Generally, whenever we are creating the record, there will be having some mandatory fields. I'm supplying the values. Those values I would like to supply from this request body itself. Through the request body, we need to supply the input parameters for my post annotation method. So it will be taking these input values. It will be supplying the values for those fields. It will create the record inside our object here. Okay, clear? Now, so let's make a note of this one. HTTP post annotation. So by using this annotation, we can insert new records into the object. We can insert new records into the object. We can insert either one or more records into the object based on the requirement. Based on the requirement. Upon invoking the service, we need to supply the values for the mandatory fields. Mandatory fields through the request body. Through the request body. Through the request body. Through the request body, we can able to supply the values here. We need to supply the values for the fields in the form of JSON format. In the form of JSON format. In the form of JSON format, we need to supply those values here for that parameters. What are the mandatory fields are available? For those mandatory fields, we need to supply the values in the form of JSON. JSON is not a different one. JSON is simply derived from map collection. That's it. Key value pair. That's it. Okay. JSON is purely in the form of key value pair collection. As part of map, you know how to store the key and the value pairs inside the map collection. In the same format, we are using the JSON format also. JSON is purely supporting the map collection. Done? So now let's see. So how can we create this web service and how can we retrieve the parameters? How can we insert the records? Now let's see practically. But practice is very, very important for the web services especially. Two things are mandatory. Okay, in the interview point of view, they will raise a question, have you worked on integrations or not? If you say yes, they will raise a question, have you worked on REST or so? Okay, so you say yes. Okay, I worked on the REST implementations. They will raise a question, have you prepared your own services or have you consumed the third-party services? Say yes, both. We have worked on both. We have prepared our own services. We have exposed to the third party. We have consumed some third-party services also, both. Okay, both inbound, outbound, both we have implemented. Okay, that means call-ins, call-out, both we have made by using that REST-based implementation. At that time, they will raise a question, how to prepare this REST-based service? What are the annotations are available? Okay, so at that time, we should be able to explain each and every annotation one by one. What is the functionality here? Okay, how can we test by using the tool? Okay, they will raise the questions. How to consume the third-party applications, we'll see practically. For that one, we need the concept of JSON format. Okay, now we should be aware of both how to expose our services to the third party, how to consume the third party services both. Now we are preparing our own web services. These web services we are going to be exposing to the third party people. Third party people will consume your service based on the URI. And then they will connect your Salesforce organization. They can able to access the web services. They can perform the operation by supplying the required input parameters. Okay. Now, so now let me prepare a new service which is used to insert the records into your object here. Okay. Now, I'm using that annotation HTTP post. Okay. HTTP post annotation, which is used to insert the records into your object. Now, I'm using that global method, global static. I want to create one account record here. Let's take a small use case. Before that, write that syntax. @HTTP post global static return type of the method, and we can specify the method name. If you want to pass any parameters, we can specify the parameters also. You can write the code. In order to insert the record, whatever the code is required, you can write that code inside this. Okay, so let me explain an example here. Some sample example. I'm preparing the method here @HTTP post global static string. I'm giving the confirmation whether record is inserted successfully or not. Create contact record. I'm passing some parameters. Okay, I'm passing some parameters. String the first name, string last name, string title, string email ID, string phone number, string fax number. These are the parameters I'm preparing over here for my method. Now, whatever the values you are supplying from the third party input values, those will be coming into your methods, into your parameters automatically by default here. Okay. Whatever the input you are supplying, okay, whatever the input you are supplying, okay, at runtime, those will be coming into your parameters automatically. Okay. Now, so in this case, once the values are coming into your parameters, then we can able to insert the record here. Okay. Now prepare the contact record. Contact some CON equals to new contact. I would like to supply contact dot first name equals to the first name parameter. Contact dot last name parameter. Contact dot title equals to title. Contact dot email ID equals to email ID parameter. Contact dot phone equals to, what is the parameter here? Phone number parameter. Contact dot fax equals to fax number parameter, and then insert the contact record. Insert contact and return that here. Return contact record ID is, I would like to add that contact record ID also. That's it. Done. nothing else. Just you are preparing the procedure, taking that input parameters, creating the record, nothing else. Okay, like as a basic procedures concept only, nothing else. It's not difficult. Okay, so now what we did, we have prepared a method with the name create contact record. This method is having some input parameters here. These are the parameters are there, because to create a contact record we require some parameters here. We require some input values, because upon creating the contact record there are some mandatory fields are available for whom we need to supply the value. Without supplying the value for the mandatory fields we can't create the records. So that I'm preparing some parameters as part of my method, which will be receiving this input values at runtime, which has been sent by the third-party system. And then those input values we are going to be passing to my fields, and then I'm inserting that record into my object here. So these are the parameters I have defined over here, because every web service requires some input parameters also over here. Okay, every web service requires some input parameters. Based on that input parameters, we can do some operations as well here. Okay, now let me explain. For example, come to a general scenario. Assume that for example, I'm having a web service which is a weather map. Which is an open weather map service. Okay, so which is the open weather map over here. So when coming to the open weather map, which is used to collect the weather map information. Okay, in order to collect the weather map information, we are going to be using this open weather map application. It's a third-party application which has been purely built upon PHP. Okay, it has been built upon purely PHP. So where they keep on updating the weather information of all the countries and all the areas also. Suppose if you want to know the weather map of a weather information of a particular city, we can use this application. We can able to search. Okay, now we can go to that weather university. Just click on that, specify that. I'm indicating Hyderabad. Upon click on that search, it is indicating that which Hyderabad information you want. Okay, which Hyderabad information that you want. So now the Hyderabad which is in because India, and the Hyderabad which is available inside that Pakistan. Depends upon your requirement, we can able to specify that information also. Now here I'm indicating that Hyderabad, India. In India, Hyderabad weather map I want here. Click on search, we can able to get that information also. So go to that Hyderabad weather map information. We can see the current weather also, and then along with that, it will be giving the forecasting information also to you. Okay, that means forecasting means the future for the next week, what will happen in Hyderabad, how will be the temperature, how will be the climate, we can cross check that. So till they have given that till January 24th. Okay, so now we can able to see that forecasting information also inside that, minimum temperature, maximum temperature, everything we can able to see. So this is one of the third-party application that we have. We can able to see that weather information also. Now currently it is indicating that. So now the wind is the light breezy, and then cloudiness, sky is clear, and then pressure value, humidity value, sunrise, sunset, and the geographical coordinates, latitude and the longitude values are also available to you over here. Based on this one, we can see this Hyderabad inside the Google map also. Once you click on that, we can able to see that Hyderabad in the Google Maps also. It depends upon your requirement. In Hyderabad, these are the various locations are available over here. Okay, we can see that information also. Depends upon your location, latitude and the longitude values. You can able to see that information over here. Country, temperature, clouds, humidity, pressure, wind direction, wind speed, everything we can able to see that information also. Okay, for that reason here we are going to be using this kind of weather map application. By using that weather map, we can able to see the weather details of a particular city or a state, anything, whatever the area that we are associated. In this case, I want to integrate this one. Okay, I want to integrate this one. For that one, when coming to this application, they have given one API also. They have prepared one web service. Okay, they're exposing the web service to you. Consume that web service into your application, pass that required parameters, get the weather information, show inside your application wherever you want. Okay, Like for example, when you go to your mobiles, okay, you will be having a weather like as a one which will be available to you inside your mobile. We can see that weather information also, current temperature inside your mobile device. When you go to that Facebook also, there you can able to see that weather information. When you go to that YouTube also, we can see that weather information. Multiple applications are consuming these services. Then how can we consume this service? For that one, they have indicated one API. They're giving that API to you. Click on that API. We can able to get that information. I want to get the weather map information here. So for that one, they have given that weather maps 2.0. So now click on API documentation. They will be giving the documentation also. How to consume that weather information. So this is the URL here, which we need to use. Okay, weather map parameters here. They're indicating the parameters also. What parameters we need to supply. So now how to get the current forecast and historical weather maps, okay, by using only date parameter. Based on the date, we can able to get the historical information. And then based on that, your city also, we can able to fetch the weather information also. No. So based on the city also, we can able to get the weather information by city name. Based on the city name, if you want to get the weather map information, then we have to use that API. Okay, this is the endpoint URL to which we need to connect. Okay, where Q equals to your city name. Based on that city name, we can able to get this weather map information also here. Okay, suppose for example, I want to get this information. I'm using this weather map here. I'm indicating Q equals to some Hyderabad. Okay, so now we can able to get that weather map information by passing that API key. We have to supply the API key also. For that one here, they have indicated that. Upon storing the data, we have to supply the API key also here. That API key we need to generate manually. By logging into that application, we can able to generate that API key. That API key also we need to pass, okay, along with that city name. By city name, we can able to fetch the information also here. Now, in this case, they are going to be giving some response also. The response will be looking like this. Here we have to specify the API ID also we need to supply over here. Based on the API ID, we can able to get this information. Let me show you that. Now, I'm using that API key. So this is the API key they have generated for me here. I would like to copy this key. I would like to get the information. Upon fetching the data based on that, the city value. By city name, I want to fetch the information over here. We can specify that API name. So now this is the parameter over here. We have to specify. I'm indicating Q equals to some Hyderabad, comma India, and app ID. App ID equals to, I need to pass that app ID here. So this is application ID which they have generated for me. Pass that app ID, we can able to get that weather information. Now for the Hyderabad, this is the weather information that we have. This is the weather map information for the Hyderabad city, today's weather information. Coordinates, okay, the longitude value and then latitude value. And the weather information, they're indicating the weather information and the base and the temperature. The temperature they are indicating to you over here. In this temperature, the minimum temperature value and the maximum temperature value. So this temperature and along with that they're giving that pressure information. Humidity also, visibility, wind speed, clouds, sunrise at what date, what time sunrise, sunset, country, city value, everything we can able to get, the time zone, everything. But when you go to the temperature minimum, here we are having the 294. Generally the people will be Okay, measuring the temperature in terms of centigrades and Fahrenheit. It will be like as 21, 22, 24, 31, up to 41 the temperature generally. But this temperature they are giving in the form of kelvins. Kelvin is also one of the measurement for the temperatures here. Temperature we can able to measure in terms of centigrade, Fahrenheit, and Kelvin. These are the three measurements that will be available to you. So this is the Kelvin format over here. They're indicating to you. Not just you can go to that. Go to the temperature conversion. Temperature converters. When you go to the temperature converter, you will be having that options are available. So now the temperature will be either in terms of Celsius, Fahrenheit, and the Kelvin. I'm having that Kelvin over here. Okay. Now I want to see in that centigrades. Okay, that means Celsius. So now what is the value that we have right now? It is having that 294.15. I'm indicating 294.15. That means here 21. Okay, 21 centigrades. So that here depends upon your requirement, we can able to connect to those kind of third-party applications also. So they're clearly exposing to you whenever if you want to connect with our service, then this is the URL we have to use. Like the similar way, we have created our own web service, and then we are going to exposing our web service also. In order to connect with our web service, then please use this URL here. This is the URL we have to use that, and then for the name, pass that parameter value. Okay, simple concept here. Somebody is exposing some services, we are also creating our own services, we are exposing to the third party here. Okay, clear? So we need to supply some input parameters also over there. Okay, we need to supply some input parameters. For that parameters, they're indicating like as a query string parameters over here. Okay. Clear? Now, so now here in this case, let's see. So let's come back to our use case, how to implement this one. So let's take a small use case here. I want to create an account record into my account object with the help of this REST-based service. How to create an account record? Now let's see practically. Now, create a REST service to insert a new account record into the object. Create a REST service to insert a new account record into the object. In order to insert a new account record into your object, you need a web service here. Now, so let me prepare a web service in order to create a new account record. I'm going to my account manager service. I'm using that HTTP post annotation in order to indicate that I'm going to be creating some new records inside my object. Okay. So I'm preparing the method. Whatever the account record has been created successfully, I want to give that account record information also. Or if you want to give simply a message like as inserted successfully, then you can give the parameter return type as string. Okay. Depends upon your requirement. Here we can able to give the return type. If you want to return the whole record, then you can return. If you want to show simply a message like as inserted successfully, give that return type as string. If you want to return simply ID, then you can give that ID type of parameter, whatever you want. Depends upon your requirement. Okay. Now I am going to be returning the whole record because I want to know whether my record has been created successfully or not here. For that one, I want to see the complete account record here. Okay. Now, create new account. I'm preparing some parameters here. String ACC name, string, ACC rating, string, ACC industry, string, ACC type, string, ACC ownership, string, ACC phone, string, ACC fax, string, ACC website, string, ACC revenue, string, ACC status, active status here. These are the parameters I'm supplying for my method here. Okay, these are the parameters. I'm giving these parameters right now. So these are the parameters: ACC name, ACC rating value I'm supplying, industry value also I'm supplying over here, account type value, ownership value, phone value, fax value, website information, annual revenue information. So here this will be decimal. Annual revenue is a decimal, and then string, active status, whether this account record is active or not. Active status field value I'm supplying. All these parameters I'm supplying to my web service. Now based on these values, I would like to create the record here. Now, how to create the record? By using that account class object. Create that account class object. Account ACC equals to new account. Once account record class object has been getting prepared, supply the value for the fields. Now the fields values are coming from where? From these parameters here. Just pass these parameters. Now ACC dot name. That value is coming from which parameter? ACC name parameter here. ACC dot rating. ACC rating. That means this value is coming from rating parameter. Whatever the value you are supplying to this parameter, this value I'm storing inside my rating field. ACC dot industry. I'm passing the value of ACC industry field to my industry field here. ACC dot type. ACC type parameter value I'm storing in the type field. ACC dot ownership. I'm passing that ownership field value. ACC dot annual revenue. ACC revenue. ACC dot active status. ACC status. Any field we are missing? Phone and fax, right? ACC dot phone. I'm passing that ACC phone. ACC dot fax. ACC fax. ACC dot website. ACC dot website. I'm inserting those records here. Insert account. Once account record has been getting inserted, I'm returning that here. Return ACC. That's it. The whole account record I'm returning to that third-party system. The third-party system can see the record here, what record they have created. If there is any changes in that record values, they can make the changes also. Okay. So now here I'm preparing. I have prepared a method with the name create new account. So upon creating the account record, we have so many fields are there inside my account object for whom we need to supply the values. So that here to supply the values, I have prepared some parameters over here inside my method: ACC name, ACC rating, and the industry, and then type, ownership, phone, fax, website, annual revenue, and then status, active status field. So these are the parameters I have defined. So to these parameters, I'm supplying the value from the third-party system. Now these values I'm passing to the fields upon creating the record inside my object. Once the record has been getting inserted successfully, I'm returning that complete account record to the third-party system. Okay, they can get that complete record information. Clear? Understood the concept now? Now, let's see how can we test this one. Whenever you are going to be invoking this service, we have to use that method called as what is the method? Post method. Okay, we have to use that post method over here. Now, so let me go to my service. I would like to call this account manager service here. So what is the method here? Post method. Previously we have used get, but now we are using that post method. Upon click on that post method, it is asking me to specify that body, because whenever I'm going to be calling that post method, post annotated method, this method is having some set of parameters are available. So please supply the values for these parameters. Like whenever you are calling a method, if you are simply calling the method open braces and close braces, if the method is expecting some parameters, it is giving the message to you, method does not exist or incorrect signature. We have to supply the value. So we need to supply the values to this particular method, okay, to this particular parameters from the third-party system in the form of JSON format. How can we supply in the form of JSON? Now let me show you practically in this case. So we have to specify that curly braces here, flower braces, okay, open braces, close braces. Here we can supply the values. For example, let me show you here itself. Okay, we have to use that flower braces. So when coming to that JSON format, in JSON it will be purely in the form of key and the value pairs. We have to specify the key name, and then we have to specify the value. Okay, key and the value. Suppose if you want to pass one more key and the value, make a comma, specify the second key name, and then value. Like that, multiple keys and the values we can able to compare over here. We can able to supply. Okay, so we have to specify the key name and the value. What value you are going to supply over here. Okay, now in this case, when coming to my method, how many parameters are available? These are the parameters are available: ACC name, ACC rating, ACC industry. These are the key names. Okay, these are the key names. Okay, now for these keys we need to supply the values here. How to supply the values for these key names? Now let me show you practically here. In this case, I'm preparing that key and the value pair. I'm using that JSON format. The first key is ACC name. What is the value you want to supply? I want to create one account record here, so that I'm indicating like as REST APEX account record. I'm passing the account record name here. This is the name. Second parameter, ACC rating. So what is the value you want to supply? Heart. ACC industry. What is the value you want to supply? I'm indicating like as banking. ACC type. I'm passing the value prospect, comma. ACC ownership. Excuse me. ACC ownership. I'm indicating like as some public. ACC phone. I'm passing the value. ACC fax. I'm passing some value. ACC revenue. Revenue is a decimal, nothing but numerical type. Directly we can supply. I'm indicating like some 90 lakhs. Anything is missing? Website. Okay. Now status, I'm indicating like as yes. ACC website. I'm indicating www. I'm indicating Salesforce.com. These are the input parameters. We have to supply the input in this format over here. Okay, just we have to specify in the form of a JSON format. JSON will be purely always following that notation that each and every element which you are going to supply, that should be in the form of key and the value pair collection. This is the key and this is the value. This is the key, this is the value. This is the key, this is the value here. We can supply. We can specify. This is called as one key and one value. This is called, this combination is called as one element. Okay, this is called as an element here. So now this is one element. So this is the second element, and this is the third element. We can separate each and every element by making a comma here. Comma is a separator. Okay, comma is a separator. With the help of that comma, we can separate the elements one by one. Okay, now, so let's copy this JSON format, place inside your request body. Inside the request body, I'm placing this entire content over here. Okay, clear? Now here I'm going to be invoking that. So now account manager service. In that account manager service, I'm invoking a method. So which is having that the annotation at the rate HTTP post annotation method, which is expecting some input parameters. For these parameters, I'm supplying the values inside the request body. In the request body, I'm supplying the input parameter values here. Okay. Now click on execute. Click on execute. Let me invoke that service again, because here the session timeout has been occurred. Apex REST. What is my service name? Account manager service, and the request body. I'm copying that request body. I'm pasting inside this. Click on execute. So now it is indicating that the record has been created successfully over here. So with these details, REST Apex account record has been created. This is the name of that account record. This is the rating value we have supplied, industry, and then type, ownership, annual revenue, active status, phone number, fax number, website. And this is the ID has been generated by Salesforce for your record here. We can able to see that record information. That's what here I have displayed that whole information. I'm returning the complete record information. That's what we can see that whole record. Let's go to your Salesforce instance. You can see that record also. Go to your Salesforce instance. Click on accounts. We can see that record has been created. REST Apex account record. What are the values we have supplied? With those values, a new record has been created successfully inside my record over here. Now the name has been supplied, type value, industry, rating, phone, fax, website, ownership, annual revenue, active status, everything we have supplied with these details, it will be creating the record inside your object here. Okay, clear? Now, understood the concept now? Next. Clear? Understood the concept? Now. Then we have to pass that multiple records information. So this is one record information. Like the similar way, make a comma, another record information over here. Okay, the second record information, Apex account record. This is different account record here. We need to make it as an array, because whenever we are using that array, we have to specify that square braces. Square braces is nothing but your array here. Okay, this is nothing but your array. In this array, this is one element. This is the second element here. Two elements are available here. Then we have to go to your web service. In that web service, you have to collect both the records information by using the deserialization process. We have to insert into that. Yes. Okay. So we'll see that. So now these are the notations are available. This is an array notation. This is an object notation like that as part of JSON that we are going to be discussing on Saturday session. On Saturday session, we are going to be discussing JSON formats, their data types, their principles, how to prepare the JSON format, serialization, deserialization, manual through programming. Both we'll see practically. Okay. Done. Now, so let's make a small service. So write one more service. Make it as an assignment. First one, create a REST web service to insert a hiring manager record into the object. In order to create a new hiring manager record inside that object, I need a REST web service. Second one, create a REST web service to insert a lead record into the object. A lead record into the object. Third one, create a REST web service to insert a position record into the object. In order to insert the position record, I need a REST web service. These are the three assignments. Done? Now, next one. HTTP put annotation. So what is the use of this put method now? Update. Put method is used to update the records inside your object. Whatever the records are available inside your object, if you want to update the records by assigning some new value for the fields, then we can go with that put method. Okay. Put method is used to update the record. Post method is to insert. Put method is used to update. Patch method is used to perform upsert operations. Okay. Now, so let's see how can we update that records here. Whenever we are going to be updating the record, we have to supply which record you are going to update here. What is the idea of that record? For that record, for which fields you are supplying the new values, we have to supply those values also. That means what record you are going to update, and for that record, what field values you are going to update, what is the new values for those fields we need to supply. Okay, we need to supply those new values here. Okay, so upon updating the record, we have to supply the ID of the record. We have to supply that new values for the fields. Okay, what field value you want to update, either industry field, phone field, or fax field, what field you want to update. For that field, what new value you want to assign over here, we can be able to specify all this information in the form of parameters. In the form of parameters, we have to supply all these values. Okay, now let's make a note of this one here. HTTP put annotation. By using the put method, we can update either one or more records into the object. By using this put method, we can update either one or more records into the object. Upon updating the record, we need to supply the record ID, which should get update, and we need to supply the values. We need to supply the new values for the fields to be get updated. What field values you would like to update? For that field, what new value you are going to assign? We have to supply those input parameters. And the syntax. @HTTP put method. I'm indicating that method name. Global static. Specify the return type. Method name. We can specify the required input parameters. Write the code to update the records. Now, make a note. We need to supply the parameter values from the third-party systems, third-party system inside the request body, in the form of JSON format. In the form of JSON format, we need to supply that request body. That input parameter values we need to supply to that method at runtime. You have to deserialize. That is a different process. Okay, you should be aware of the deserialization process. Then only we can able to deserialize into that multiple, into a collection. Then only we can use that one. Clear? Now let's see a practical example on this one. Now, so let's take a small use case. For example, I'm having a case object. In that case object, I'm having a case record. So this is the case record that we have. This is the ID of the case record. For this case, the status has been assigned as some closed. I want to change the status to working. Okay, I want to change the status to working. And then, along with that here, I want to give that the case reason also. Case reason I want to indicate like as feedback or breakdown, whatever, anything. I want to separate the case reason also over here. Okay, I want to update this case record. Generally, what we can do, we have to open the record and then double click on that fields, assign the values, and then save the changes back. Okay, the similar kind of operation we are doing through web services also, nothing different. But these values, whatever the field values you would like to update, you can supply those values at runtime in the form of JSON format through parameters. Okay, now, so let's take this use case here. I want to update that case records status as working and the reason as breakdown. Okay, for the case number 00001001. This is the case number here. Based on this case number, I want to update the status value and the case reason. Okay, now, so let's make a note of this use case. take a small use case. Create a REST web service to update the case record status and case reason for the specified case based on the case number. Case number is a standard field which has been given by Salesforce inside the case object, which is purely an auto number field. Which is purely an auto number field, the value will be generating by Salesforce automatically for that field. Now, I want to assign that case status as working and the case reason as breakdown. Okay, breakdown. Then how can we do this one? Now let's see practically with the help of that HTTP put annotation method. Okay. Now, so let me go with that. I would like to go with that case manager service. So I'm going to be preparing a method which is having the annotation. What is the annotation we need to use? HTTP put to update the records here. I'm preparing the method global static. Now I want to give the confirmation back, that is called as a string parameter. I would like to return over here. String, I'm indicating update case status. I'm passing some parameters, string case record number, and then string case status and string CS reason, nothing but the case reason. These are the three parameters I'm preparing over here. For these three parameters, we need to supply the values at runtime in the request body in the form of JSON. Okay, now tell me what we can do first. Fetch the record first. Based on what? Case number. Based on the case number, we need to fetch that case record first. Once the case record is available, then we can assign the value for that status field and the reason field, and then update that case record. Okay, now that's it. Simple concept. Case. Okay, case. I'm indicating that case to update. I'm fetching that case record. Select the ID of the case, case number, reason, status from case object, where case number equals to case record number. So whatever the parameter I have defined based on the case record number, I am going to be collecting the respective case record. Once the case record is available, then I'm indicating that if case to update dot ID is not equals to null, then I'm going to be updating the case record here. Case to update dot reason equals to CS reason. Case to update dot status equals to CS status. And then I'm going to updating the case record. Update case to update. Once the case record has been getting updated, I would like to return the result over here. Okay, I'm going to returning that result. Return case record updated successfully. Or else you can give some different message also. I'm indicating that. Return case record updated successfully. Else, I want to return the value. Case record not found. Invalid case ID. I'm supplying that value. If the case is not available with that case number, if you don't have any case record, because I supplied some wrong case ID here, case number. At that time, the case record may not be found. At that time, I'm indicating that case record not found, invalid case number or the case ID, the case number here. Okay, you know these DML operations, okay, since very long time. Okay, already we have discussed this DML statements, SQL queries, everything, you know that. Just we are going to be exposing to the outside the world also, nothing else. So now I have the three parameters for this method. Case number. Based on that case number only, I would like to get that case record to be get updated. For that case, I would like to assign the new status value and the new reason, so that I'm collecting those field values also here. And then based on the case record number, I'm collecting the case record. I'm storing that record inside the variable inside my case object here. And then I'm going to be verifying if the case record ID is not null. That means case record has been found. Then I'm going to be assigning the reason value, status value. I'm commenting the changes back to the database, and I'm returning the result. Suppose with the ID is not available, that means case record not found with this number. I'm giving the message case record not found, invalid case number here. Okay, clear? So now here in this case, now let me invoke this service now, case service. So now tell me what is the method now? Put method or post method? Put method. You can now select that put method. Now for this put method, what we need to do? Supply the parameter values. What parameters are available here? We are having case record number. These are the parameters. This is the keys. Okay, we have to specify the exact key. If you are changing the key, it will be giving that error message to you. Okay, these are the keys for whom we need to supply the value. Okay, now I'm preparing that here. Now they should be aware of the key, because in the API documentation they will be clearly mentioning that these are the keys only here. Okay. Now this is the key. I'm giving that key. Case number, I'm indicating that case number here. So let's take that case number, any of the case record ID. This is the case ID. I'm collecting case number over here. I'm collecting that case number, comma, CS reason. I'm giving the value breakdown. CS status. I'm indicating like as working. Okay, so these are the values I would like to supply here. For this parameter case record number, I'm passing the case number here. That means which case you are going to update. For the reason parameter or reason field, what is the value you are going to assign. For the status field, what is the value you are going to assign. Okay, we can specify that. Now I'm specifying this input parameters inside that JSON in the request body. Okay, now click on execute. Once you click on execute, it will be performing the operation on that. It is indicating case record, okay, updated successfully here. Okay, case record updated successfully. So now with this date, case number, whatever the case record is available for that case, reason has been updated and then status has been updated. Let me go back to the case record here. As of now, status is closed, reason is performance. Now refresh this user interface. Now, what is the status now? Working. Reason is breakdown. Okay, so that we can able to assign that values for your case records also, whatever you want. Okay. For example, if I'm passing that case number like a some 67. Okay. Now once you click on this execute, it has to return some message here. Error, nothing but record not found. Okay. So list has no rows for assignment to yes subject type here. There is no records are available to you. Okay. For that reason here it is giving that message to you. Clear? How to update the records into your object through web service? You can pass case ID also, anything. Any parameter we can able to supply here, no problem. Not only the case number, case ID, or based on the case status, you can collect multiple cases, you can update that, whatever you want. It is not mandatory to take only the case number, you can take case ID also, any other field, whatever you want. Posting in a sense? That is only for the get method, not for that put method. Okay, because if you are passing simply the case record ID inside that particular URL, then record will be getting collected. What you want to do in that record, I want to update. For that one, we need to supply the value for the fields, right? So that should be in the form of the request body only here. Okay, clear? Understood the concept here? So we have one more method is available, patch method. We'll see in that next session.